Guess how many transgender athletes are competing in the Olympics? I'll give you a hint. So this article's from outsports.com. Stick around, I'll talk about it in a sec. It says, meet the only out trans athlete competing at the Winter Olympics. Elis Lundholm will be the first athlete to compete at a Winter Olympics while being publicly out as transgender. He competes in skiing. So, and it says until Outsports, this is from outsports.com, until Outsports was sent information about Elis Lundholm by a reader in Sweden, we believed there were no trans athletes at this 2026 Milan Winter Olympics, but now we know differently. Lundholm is a trans man who competes for Sweden in moguls, a freestyle skiing discipline that involves a steep hill and a ton of bumps along the way. Because he was born female and competes in the female category, he is good to compete per the trans athlete rules in any sport. Trans people have been allowed to compete in the Olympics since 2004. And since then, not a single trans person has ever won an Olympic medal. And yet Republicans are pushing false claims that trans people have physical advantages. The International Olympic Committee conducted a study with the University of Brighton to compare athletic abilities between trans women and cisgender women, because the false claim coming from the right is that trans women have a physical advantage over cis women. And they found that trans women are actually physically disadvantaged to cis women in many ways. I have many videos on this. If you want to learn more, you can go back and watch that. But the bottom line is the Republican argument for discriminating against trans women is that they are stronger than cis women, and it's just not true. The more you are educated on the trans community, the more this becomes evident. The IOC is deciding whether to ban trans competitors from the Olympics. So in this case, this is over one person. This is all coming from religious cults on the right who are delusional about trans and non-binary identity. They're delusional about trans and non-binary people existing. There's also evidence that the public upset about trans inclusion in sports is being manufactured to make it appear like it's a bigger issue to the American public. Republicans believe that trans identity is not real or recognized. Where have you been the last 30 years as trans identities become more accepted by the public and we've advanced our civil rights? After all the research and studies and collected data, all of the input by medical experts, all the evidence right in front of them, and Republicans are still denying reality about trans identity. We have to address this willful ignorance as a country. Because these religious cults are destroying America. I want to say best of luck to Elis Lundholm. Represent the trans community well, dude. I hope no one treats you badly in this competition because of your identity. And trans inclusion is so important. It is so brave to be the one and only trans person competing in this political climate. So best of luck to you, dude. Thank you guys for listening. Please like this, share it, leave your comments. I'll be back very soon. Ta-ta.